Hello, classmates. I did my semester project as a study of international copyright law and fair use policies in Uganda. This is the Ugandan flag, and none of the photos or pictures here are guilty of copyright infringement, in case you were wondering. So, the reason that I chose this topic is this. My brother, shown here, and his beautiful wife and children live in Uganda, where they run a non-profit organization called Solidarity Uganda. Through this organization, they often create educational materials, community publications, and this year they're hoping to finish their filmed documentary. It's called Our Feet Are Rooted, and it's made to spread awareness and promote effective nonviolent solutions to the Amuru land grabs. My brother is also currently working on a book that he would like to publish in the next year or so in Uganda. As we have been discussing so many different aspects of copyright and the production of media throughout this class, I began to wonder how different it would be for Phil, my brother, to take advantage of copyright protection throughout Uganda if needed, compared to how that would look if he were still living and publishing in the United States. I took a look at the chapter on international copyright in our textbook, then looked further into some of the international treaties, such as the Berne Convention, which we touched on briefly in class, and discovered that while Uganda is not a member of the Berne Convention, they still provide copyright protection to Americans under the World Trade Organization's GATT, or TRIPS, agreement. The paper explores some of the differences that remain between copyright protection in America and that in Uganda. Under Uganda's Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act of 2006, fair use policies like those we have in the U.S. are outlined. The different copyright cases mentioned in my paper involve consideration of those fair use rules, as granted to those reporting current events and those using material for educational or teaching purposes. This latter topic is one of particular significance in Uganda. You see, the idea of protecting works to clarify ownership or protect profits isn't the only reasonable side of the case in Uganda. In such an underdeveloped country, resources for education are not as readily available as they are here in the U.S. We have access to free public education, not to mention endless public libraries. However, many Ugandan students, if they can even afford to go to school, cannot afford the books and materials they need to learn properly. Many large controversies, such as the John Murray case discussed in my paper, reveal the vast trend of photocopying and distributing or selling copies of entire books throughout the country. How are we as Christians supposed to view this abuse of fair use? On one hand, Ephesians 4:28 reveals to us that honest labor is to be commanded and respected, for it helps all involved. Plagiarizing does not truly benefit the perpetrator, for the lack of original work does nothing to progress thought or society, and injures the original author. It is biblically sound to give each person what he or she is owed via copyright. However, the state of Uganda should be concerning to us, for Scripture often tells us that the pursuit of wisdom is vital and extremely valuable. Jesus was also constantly instructing his followers to go out and share what knowledge they have. So can we insist on copyright laws that prevent the distribution of wisdom? There are considerations that should be made before pressing copyright charges, and changes that should be considered to make the fair use laws more effective in promoting innovation and progress in Uganda. Those of us with abundant resources should find ways to help make them more available to those who lack. Considering these cultural difficulties of the fair use policies alongside the international copyright laws is important for American authors in Uganda. Grasping the culture and legal atmosphere can't be neglected, for copyright law is a field that deals with people, not just documents and treaties. Thanks for listening to my presentation, and have a great summer.